They've just opened the vote, so I'm eager to get down to the floor and help move this forward for American families. This is critical. These delays this morning were really just terrible. Senator Schumer was putting solar panel funding over the safety and security of American families, and it's just wrong.
Well, I have you, because I haven't had the opportunity, Senator. I know you have addressed this about the timing of certain stock trades. We're told after a meeting, a January 24th meeting about the coronavirus, and some have interpreted that timing that you got bad news on it and you sold a lot of stock. That particular transaction afterwards, more than $3 million. Is that true?
That's absolutely false. It is completely false. All the data that we've put out there is counter to that. It's fake news. It's very disappointing to see that this was picked up by legitimate outlets like the Wall Street Journal repeating what a fly-by-night outlet, liberal outlet like the Daily Beast wrote and said that I sold stock.
Well, Senator, could you tell me what was fake? What was fake? Was it the timing of the sale, that it had nothing to do with that coronavirus briefing? When did you sell the stock? Was it after that briefing, before that briefing?
I don't do trades, Neil. I'm not involved in my portfolio. My husband's not involved. Our portfolio is managed by third parties. The actions are blind to me until they put it in front of me at the end of the reporting period. And I'll just tell you, in that portfolio, it's absolutely false that we sold millions. It was a more bullish bet. We ended up owning companies like Delta, like Goldman Sachs, like Aflac, like Prudential, companies that have been hard hit and ended up losing money and all that. No one's reported that, and it doesn't, it has nothing to do with knowledge I had or didn't have, because I had no involvement in these trades.
All right, so this was left to outside parties. You and your husband, who people might not know is the chairman of the International Intercontinental Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange. You have parties, individuals, maybe who have your account and then sell. Do they check it with you? Do you check with them? How does it go?
No, it's reported to me on a piece of paper at the end of the period. I don't want to be involved. And listen, I've been in financial services for 20 years. I've been around material non-public information for that long. I'm a chartered financial analyst. I understand the ethics. I understand SEC compliance at the highest levels. That's all we've done to comply with it. I've been around much more substantial material non-public information than probably any of my peers in the Senate. I know exactly how to manage through this. This is fake news. It's preying on the emotions of the American people and trying to create a narrative that's absolutely false, and no one's bothered to fact check it.
Well, maybe given your notoriety as a United States Senator, your husband's a big financial muckety-muck senator, obviously it draws more attention than it might otherwise. You did have, or your husband had, sold a number of ICE shares, Intercontinental Exchange shares, later on, a couple of months later, just actually a couple of weeks ago. That, again, was handled the same way on your behalf, that third parties, took that independently, took that as an opportunity to sell those shares? Explain.
So, Neil, you may be familiar with the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission Rule 10b-5-1. This requires that any trades have a cooling off period so that as executives, plans are filed far in advance of any transactions being executed. And that's exactly what was required and has been required. That's how we conduct any securities sale that comes as part of compensation. Most executives will understand how this works. You cannot just turn around and sell a stock. It has to be filed far in advance. And look, this is something that everyone can look into. These are public filings. That's how we've conducted our affairs for 20 years. And it's just the fake news, blowing it out of proportion in terms of trying to scapegoat someone who, like myself, like my husband, who started working our ways up. Look, I worked in the fields. I waitressed my way through school. I lived the American dream by climbing up through increasingly responsible positions in business. And, attack my hair, attack me, who you don't like my clothes, but don't attack my integrity and don't attack my husband's integrity, because we follow the spirit and the letter of the law every single day.